Yeah, well, that's Mr. Thibodeau. So we're going to go ahead and talk about lesson 36. Sorry, let me get this up and running for you. All right. Now, this one's pretty easy, not too difficult here, lesson 36. Okay, mental math, you got your problem solving. Now, the new concept here is talking about fractions, mixed numbers, and adding and subtracting them. So, when we're talking about this, you sometimes have whole numbers and fractions together that are being added or subtracted from each other. They do a pretty good job, I think, of visualizing what's happening. Another option that you can do is you can turn it all into a fraction, okay? Once it's all into a fraction, then you can deal with it and you can work it there. So I'm going to show you all the style of all into a fraction for, let's do, we'll do number E since it's right here, letter E. Okay, so 10 minus 2.5. Okay, so now I could do this a number of ways, right? I could do 10 minus 2 is 8. 8 minus a half is 7.5. Okay, and that's an easy way to do it. Sometimes it might be easier to, and it is not in this case, but it could be, is to turn it into a fraction. So 2 times 2 is 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. So 5 over 2, okay, is the same. These are identical, okay? Now that is just a fraction. 5 halves is the same as 2 wholes and a half, okay? Now let's turn 10 into halves. Well, 10 halves is essentially, we're going to have to do it where we want it to have the same bottom here. So normally it's 10 over 1, right? That's the fraction that it normally has. In order to compare these, they need to be the same. So what we're going to do is we're going to times it by 1. But the one that we're going to times it by isn't going to be 1. It's going to be 2 over 2. Okay? This is 1. 2 over 2, that equals 1. You can always, because your multiplication identity theory, or property really, tells you that you can always multiply something by 1. Well, 2 over 2 is 1. That's the exact same thing. So 10 times 2 is going to be 20. 1 times 2 is 2. Now I can subtract, and I have fractions that I can deal with, okay? They're the same like. So 20 minus 5 is 15 over 2. That 2 just stays, okay? Now I could then say 2 goes into 15 7 times with a remainder of 1, and I get my answer, okay? Is that easier than doing 10 minus 2 to get 8? And then doing 8 minus a half and realizing that's 7.5? Maybe not in this particular case, but I do want to show you other ways to do this because there are times in which this is going to be the easier method, okay? All right, so that's E. I think you should be able to do everything else here. Looking through the work here, I'm going to have you guys do even. I'm going to have you guys do 2 through 30 for your written practice. Okay? And that's it. Have a good one, my dudes.